George Michael's cousin, Chris Antoniou, has claimed that he received a message from the late pop star's spirit through his car radio. The 60-year-old was driving to Sainsbury's when his radio suddenly went static, and he heard George's voice calling out his name, he said. Later that day, it happened again, but this time the voice said "I'm free," he claims. Chris, who is related to the Wham frontman, believes that this was George Michael communicating that he is now at peace. The retired civil servant from Aldershot, Hampshire, expressed his astonishment. "I was shocked, it was totally amazing, it completely lifted my spirits. We had a good connection. I think I understood him more than anyone else, so I think that's why he contacted me." Read more. Urgent warning for dog owners about dangers of grass seed, which could cause organ damage. Chris says he heard the voice on July 29. He was even more stunned when later that evening, he heard his cousin's voice once again. Chris recalled. "The same thing happened, the radio went all static, but this time George's voice said I'm free." Since this supernatural event, Chris has been trying in vain to hear his deceased relative once again, but to no avail. "I suppose it was just a message saying that he is free now," he said. He also reminisced about George's desire for fame, stating, "He always wanted to be famous, but when it happened it was quite hard for him. When we went to Greek weddings and stuff, he was always there and saying how he wanted to be famous." Chris reminisced about his teenage years, when his cousin George Michael's success skyrocketed overnight. "One day my dad just said to me George is on top of the pops," Chris recounted. The rise to stardom was meteoric for him. It all happened so quickly for him. Despite his newfound fame, George maintained some level of contact with his family. "He moved his family and changed his phone number, but I still had some contact with him. There was a strong bond between them. We had a good connection, he was always busy, but most of the time he was on his own." Retired civil servant Chris expressed how shocked he was by George's untimely death, but also felt a sense of happiness knowing that George had reached out. "I think maybe he was looking down realizing that I was unhappy," he shared. He recalled understanding the underlying message when George declared his freedom. "When he said I'm free, I understood what he meant." According to Chris, George confessed to finding the pressures of fame challenging. "He used to tell me he found fame very hard. Once he became famous in the Wham days he couldn't even go out to the shops anymore." Chris suggested that George could disguise himself, but he would reply saying it would mean being defeated in life,